All right, guys, welcome back to Babyland. I've been promising you a pretty big announcement, and here we go. I'm about to be mauled. And the reason I'm about to be mauled, oi, sorry, hang on, I gotta switch hands or do something here because I'm about to be mauled. And the reason is because of this. This is about to maul me. Ready? Ready? That is not a baby that was born here. This is a little goat who may have followed us home from the show. She's absolutely stunning, by the way. Her name is K.E. Paradise, Lady Driver. And yes, since we do not, that's it, it's empty, girlfriend. That's as easy as it is. Now you have milk face, it's empty. It's all done. There's no more. So I don't know, if you guys are astute, you may have noticed her in the pasture in the last video or two. I don't know who was doing baby counts or not. Yeah, I'm all out. You finished it. So I don't often do this. I do, well, let's see, 13 years, 2 shows a year. I've brought home, at the beginning, I brought home a lot of goats because that's how we built our herd. But hi, sweet girl. Oh, you've got milk all over me now. But in the last 8 years, I've brought home 2 goats from the show. So I don't do this often because we have a herd. Our herd is established. We have babies. I sometimes keep a baby, right? Like that is the whole point of creating a line. But you also have to make sure that when you create a line, you have genetic diversity in your line, and you can't do that if you only ever have your own animals. So, yeah, this little girl. She caught my eye the minute I walked around the show. In fact, she caught my eye when I was doing the video of the goat show evening, right? Where I did that quick walk around and showed you, here's the stalls, here's our photograph area, here's the, show ring, blah, blah, blah. And you had to listen to all the noise of people prepping goats for show. So she caught my eye pretty fast. But of course, at that point, her breeder wasn't even in the barn. There's no signs or anything, right? We're a very small group. You saw the barn is small, right? There were 10 farms participating, and, we had maybe 60, 70 animals there, right? Maybe a little bit more than that. My count may be off. It was probably closer to 100, but what do I know? I didn't sit and count individual goats. But because of the time of the year, a lot of us had babies at the show that were not going in the show, but that were there because their parents were there, their moms or dads, mostly moms. Really don't care whether the dads are there or not. Their moms were going in the show, so the babies had to come. And in this case, the babies were here because the breeder didn't want to leave them at home, because she felt more comfortable that she could take care of them best, right? And I get that. There's times that I don't want to leave animals at home with a farm sitter or with a responsible party because it's a lot of work. And if you feel more comfortable with them at your side, why not? So she did catch my eye. But of course, that was Friday night. Breeder wasn't around. There's no signs or anything that say like giant big sign, this is for sale, nothing like that, right? We just don't do that. And like I said, a lot of us had babies. All of my babies, I had 6 babies there with me. None of them were for sale. So you have to assume that this baby, especially on a Friday night before the show starts, I assume that this baby was going into the show ring. And then when she didn't, I started to take a bit of a closer look at her. And it wasn't until Saturday afternoon, in the middle of the 2 shows, I took a much closer look at her, and I happened to get a chance to talk to her breeder. And her breeder happens to be the breeder of Denali, just so, You know that I love that line. I covet that line. Denali became a master champion very quickly. So, you know, I'm always impressed with her genetics. And I just asked her, you know, out of curiosity, a little bit about that doe, this doe. And she told me who the parents were. And of course, I know the parents, right? Like I've met them at other shows where they were in the show ring. So her mom is Laffy Taffy, which is cute as can be. And I watched Laffy Taffy show and become a master champion. And her dad is Maniac Driver, who I also watched show and become a master champion. And he happened to also be at the show. So, you know, it was pretty easy for me to say, like, I know her genetics. I'm comfortable. She comes from 2 master champions. She comes from a breeder whose lines I covet to begin with. She's, you know, absolutely stunning. Look, I mean, just look at her. She's a beautiful chocolate brown with beautiful amber eyes. She got a little brown nose and brown lipstick on, and she's just gonna be stunning in the show ring. Oh, and she got her brown ears, of course. Her ear set looks good. She's holding them a little airplane-ish now, but that's just part of being young. They'll go forward. Her tail set is good. Her structure is good. So I started to talk to the hubby about her. At this point, I hadn't even found out if she was available for sale. I started to talk to the hubby about her because, you know, I don't want to waste a breeder's time and say, like, hey, how much do you want for this goat? Is it even for sale if I'm not going to be interested? And we don't do anything without a 2-party consent. We're a 2-party consent farm here. No 1-party consent. Everybody has to be on board, or at least everybody has to be out of the definitive no stage, right? Sometimes we're begrudgingly on board for something, but we're on board at least enough. So, you know, his initial response was, we don't need more goats. And I disagree with that. I think we do, right? We have a couple of older goats who are very senior, right? And the reality of it is, like, even if they exceed the normal expected lifespan, they are at the end of their journey with us at some point in the very foreseeable future, right? 14, 15 is extremely senior for goats. Their average lifespan is 12 to 15. Could they go to 20? I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Is it likely? No. So we have that going on. We also have goats that are, in my opinion, aging out of our program, right? So JC, for example, this year will be her last year to get pregnant. While I covet her kids, I think her kids are incredible. They make the best pets. They're the snuggliest kids in the world. She's starting to get some age on her, and it's time for her to become a retired goat that just hangs with the herd and is a beloved pet. And she is just that, a beloved pet. So she's going to age out. Pregnancy's been really hard on Misty these last couple of years. And while, again, she produces the most beautiful babies, I mean, just absolutely stunning babies, the reality is she's probably going to retire early because she puts so much of her body condition into her babies that I don't want to see her shorten her lifespan by continuing to breed her. So if nothing else, she's going to probably get a break next year from the breeding lineup. And then we'll see if she goes back in for one more year, although I doubt it highly. Now I'm going to have to leave the stall for a second because my bottle has blown off into the doe stall. Because like a dodo, I left it empty in like a wind sail. So you're going to come for a little trip with me. Sorry about that. Meanwhile, I'll keep talking, right? So at any rate, JC is going to age out. Misty is probably going to come out of the program for at least a year, possibly longer. So I have to think about the longevity of our program overall. Oh, I can pick up your food dish. It's finally empty anyway. And see, retrieve the bottle. My life is constantly cleaning up after the messes I make. And so, I was thinking about what's next, right? Especially now that we have Voodoo, who is, you know, has to be bred, utilized. There's Mr. Voodoo now. Needs to be paired with outstanding does, right? Like, he should be paired with all the does, because his structure is so good and so recognized now that he can't do anything wrong to a doe, right? He can only improve on what the doe already has. But he needs to also, you know, if you really want to see what's going to happen with him, we need to breed him to outstanding does and really see what those genetics can do and how far they can push the needle. So, did talk to the hubby. He initially was a outright no. I may have worn him down just a hair. Here she is again. She's a bottle baby, so she's right up in my grill at all times. But now she's not begging for her bottle because she's full. So I wore him down just a little bit, enough that he took a look at her, right? And he did agree, right? She's put together quite well. She's the same age as Voodoo, right? So she's 6 weeks. She's a perfect time to add her to our herd because we could put her right in with the babies. She's got a whole bunch of babies to play with. She can get acclimated to all the mamas. No, they're not going to adopt her or feed her or do anything weird like that. She's just going to become a natural part of the herd, and she's got all these other babies to play with. So, you know, she's not going to get stressed at that transition period. Right now, she's just my little shadow, though. She's my buddy. You know, so we talked about it some more throughout the Saturday afternoon shows while we weren't in the ring showing goats. And once again, it kind of boiled down to what does she do for our program? And I'm going to see if I can step away from her for a second. But when we look at a couple of things from her, I know it's impossible to get you on camera. Yeah, she's flashy, of course, but color is not what you make a decision on. Color is the last thing you think about. Her top line is perfectly straight, right? I told you her ear set, her tail set are all spot on. It's really hard to get a picture of her. There we go. Her leg positioning, you know, all the things are correct. She stands correct. She's wide. She's square. All of these terms that they use to describe a solid, structured goat. There we go. She's staying away from me for half a second. She got an itch? Oh, I made her butt itch. So the flashiness was just, you know, kind of an added bonus, right? And she's not related in any way, shape, or form to anyone in the herd. Her lineage is completely different from everybody else. Look at this guy. He's death napping now. You're killing me. That's what we call a death nap. When they're just laid out like that and you think, oh my gosh, your baby goat has died. Nope, he's melted in the sun. She's very alert. She's curious. She's stable. And again, her age was kind of perfect. Now, not ideal that she's a bottle baby because you guys know I'm not huge fans of bottle babies. But at the same time, she's older, so she's not in the multiple bottles a day. She gets 3 bottles a day now. She doesn't get 5 or 6. She doesn't get, I don't have to come out here at midnight and feed her. So it's an easy transition, right? She gets a bottle with breakfast, a bottle in the afternoon sometime, and then a bottle with her dinner in the evening, and ta-da, we're done. So it's really not a hardship in terms of extra work. So just right time, right place. So then once we both agreed that this might be the way to go, I did approach the breeder to see if she was available. And interestingly enough, the breeder's like, well, Yeah, but I haven't actually posted her anywhere because I really want to keep her. Well, yeah, I know. I would want to keep her too. So I said, like, that's fine. Keep her, right? If you keep her, at least somebody's going to breed her, show her, do the things that should be done with her, given how put together she is. So she did decide ultimately that she thought it would be best if she did let her go. But she wasn't actually for sale. It's always interesting when that happens. You sometimes can't make a decision, so you let fate decide for you, right? You sort of bring them, you don't advertise them, and you see if somebody's interested, and then you make a decision. And that's what she did, right? So she would not have been sad to take this little girl back home with her, but at the same time, I think it worked out for both of us that she came home with us. So at the end of the show on Saturday night, once the judges were done completely, one of the judges was gracious enough to do us the favor, and of course we had permission from her breeder to evaluate her. She had not been in the show ring. She certainly was not entered in the show or anything else. We just said, you know what, we've got the luxury of having judges here. We know that the breeder thinks she's fabulous. We know that we think she's fabulous. Let's see what a judge thinks. And he said pretty much the same thing that we all saw, which is, yeah, she's young, right? So anything can change when they're this young. But for now, she's put together spectacularly. She has a headset coming in already. She's got a beard coming in and bangs coming in, which is hard to do on does. You can see the difference, right? Like this doeling here. Her bangs are coming in, but they're certainly not at the same length or level that, now you can't see her face, but that hers are. Same thing with Ren's little doe. Ren's little doe is going to have a ton of hair on the top of her head, but it's not coming in at that same length and levelness that hers is. Does that mean hers is going to continue to grow that way? No, she's 6 weeks. Who knows what's going to happen? But it's a nice sign. So between her structural conformity, right, being really spot on structurally, the potential based on what her bangs are doing, based on how her coat looks, at least right now, her genetics and her lineage, it's a match. And so, at that point we committed to her, said, mark her sold, right? Like she wasn't marked for sale, so it doesn't matter, but she's going to be ours. We went through the show on Sunday, and I would say all Saturday night, Farm Hubby was pretty funny. He's every once in a while I hear him say, "I can't believe we bought a goat. I can't believe we bought a goat." Really comical because, again, I don't do this without him, right? So at the end of the show, we're all packed up. We left her with her companion. She was in with a bunch of babies that, of course, she grew up with and she knows. We don't pull her from that grouping until it's absolutely time to leave. So the whole trailer's loaded. Everybody's in it. We go and take her out of her stall to put her in our trailer to take her home. I'm holding her for a second. Somebody stopped me and said, "Oh my gosh, did you buy her? I was thinking about her. She's amazing. I can't wait to see her in the show," right? It's just a standard breeder talk. We do a lot of that. So you look at her coat and how it blows in the wind, right? Oh, Miss Emma, you saying hi? Emma knows she's new, but Emma's very maternal, right? So she also knows she's alone. And if I could, I'd put her in with Emma right now, but she's better off with all the babies than she is in with the adult goats as a lone baby. So anyway, I'm holding her, chatting with this breeder who's like, who are you going to breed her to? I may want a doe from her when you breed her, right? And she's not going to be bred for 2 years. So we're a long way off from that, but people make plans. Farm Hubby walks by, looks at me, takes her from me and says, "Give me my goat," and walks away, right? So no, that is, yes, he's on board. She's his goat. As soon as we got home, first thing he does he help me unload the trailer? No, he goes and gets her, takes her out. He's got her in the yard, right? And she's a bottle baby, so she's not going anywhere. taking pictures of her with the dandelions and taking portrait pictures and telling me I need to send these to update her breeder. He may be begrudging at first, but he goes all in pretty hard. So anyway, that's the big announcement. We have a new baby goat. Her registered name is K.E. Parody's Lady Driver, as I mentioned. And since we have a tradition here that we do not change the name of a goat, even if it's not necessarily the name we would give them. So since her registered name is Lady Driver, she will be called Lady unless we shorten it to something silly like LD or, something. But she'll be Lady at least for the next few weeks until we figure out what if that's going to stick or if it's going to get a nickname of some sort. But her official name is Lady Driver, and that is what her name will be. So welcome, Lady, to the herd. Thank you all for sticking around for my story time here. And I think it'll be fun to watch her grow up, and I cannot wait to put her in the show in October. So that'll be fun too. We haven't had a junior doe in the show in a little while. So thanks for sticking around. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, hit subscribe. If you haven't hit like, hit like. If you want to hear more about this, tell me, and I can certainly talk more about it. Otherwise, look for Lady to feature pretty heavily in some of the upcoming videos, along with the rest of our babies, because we love them all very much. They're all just sleeping right now. All right, until next time, there's work to be done. Bye for now.